Every life tells a story, and some stories touch the world in unforgettable ways. Recently, we've said goodbye to American stars whose talents shaped music, television, and film. Their passing leaves behind silence, but their legacies continue to inspire. Today, on Gone Legends, we honor the lives of Clint Eastwood, Shannen Doherty, Carl Weathers, and Gossett Jr. Before we begin, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Gone Legends, and share in the comments where in the world you're watching from. Together, we keep their memories alive. Today, we remember a woman whose journey was filled with brilliance, struggle, strength, and resilience. She was an actress, a cultural icon, and above all, a fighter. Her name was Shannen Doherty. Shannen Maria Doherty was born on April 12, 1971, in Memphis, Tennessee. From the very beginning, her spark was undeniable. By the age of 10, she was already pursuing acting, appearing in television shows and commercials. Her early work included guest appearances on Father Murphy and Voyagers, but it was her recurring role on Little House on the Prairie that introduced her to audiences everywhere. Even as a young girl, Shannen displayed the talent, confidence, and maturity of someone destined for stardom. She wasn't just performing, she was bringing characters to life. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, Shannen Doherty became a household name. Cast as Brenda Walsh on Beverly Hills 90210, she embodied a generation of young women navigating love, friendship, and growing up in a changing world. Audiences loved Brenda Walsh. She was bold, flawed, and real. Shannen's performance captured the struggles and triumphs of youth, and she quickly became one of the most recognizable faces of the decade. Later, Shannen stepped into another iconic role, Prue Halliwell in Charmed. From 1998 to 2001, she played the eldest of the Halliwell sisters, a protector, a leader, and a symbol of strength. Fans around the globe connected deeply with her portrayal, and Charmed became a cultural phenomenon, inspiring generations of viewers. Beyond her biggest roles, Shannen worked across film and television, starring in projects like Heathers, 1989, Mallrats, 1995, and a variety of TV movies. Each performance revealed her versatility. Whether dramatic, comedic, or supernatural, Shannen brought authenticity to every role she played. She wasn't just an actress, she was a presence, someone whose characters felt real and unforgettable. But Shannen Doherty's life wasn't only about fame. In 2015, she publicly revealed her battle with breast cancer, later sharing that it had spread to stage 4. Her openness about her illness inspired countless fans who were facing similar struggles. Rather than hiding, she chose courage and transparency. She documented her journey, her treatments, and her fears, not for sympathy but to help others feel less alone. Shannen showed the world what it meant to fight, not just for survival but for dignity and hope. Through her interviews and posts, she reminded us all that life is fragile, but courage makes it beautiful. On July 13, 2024, Shannen Doherty passed away in Los Angeles, California, at the age of 53. Her cause of death was complications from breast cancer. She was laid to rest in a private family ceremony, surrounded by those who loved her most. Her passing left fans, friends, and colleagues mourning across the world, but also reflecting on the remarkable strength she displayed throughout her journey. Shannen's story is not just one of fame, but of resilience. She proved that even in the face of overwhelming challenges, one can continue to inspire. To her fans, she was Brenda and Prue. To her family, she was a beloved daughter, sister, and friend. And to the world, she was a warrior. Her legacy is found not only in the shows and movies we continue to watch, but in the courage she demonstrated off-screen. She taught us that vulnerability is not weakness. It is the purest form of strength. Shannen Doherty lived only 53 years, but her impact was far greater. She gave us characters to love, stories to cherish, and an example of courage to follow. Though she is gone, her voice and her presence remain alive in every episode, every film, and every memory. Rest in peace, Shannen Doherty. You fought bravely, you lived boldly, and you will never be forgotten. Today, we honor the life of a man who broke barriers, inspired generations, and gave the world performances that will live forever. An actor, an activist, and a trailblazer, his name was Louis Gossett Jr. Louis Cameron Gossett Jr. was born on May 27, 1936, in Brooklyn, New York. Growing up in a working-class family, Louis discovered acting at a young age. While many children pursued sports, he found his calling on stage. At just 17, he made his Broadway debut in Take a Giant Step, 1953. From that moment, it was clear that Louis had something rare, an undeniable presence, a voice that commanded attention, and a natural gift for bringing characters to life. Louis Gossett Jr. continued to shine in theater throughout the 1950s and 1960s. His performances earned praise, and soon, Hollywood began to notice. In 1961, he appeared in the original Broadway production of A Raisin in the Sun, alongside Sidney Poitier. This groundbreaking play explored the struggles of African-American families and helped solidify Louis's reputation as a powerful actor unafraid to tackle important stories. His transition to film and television came naturally. By the 1970s, he was working steadily, appearing in projects that showcased his versatility and range. In 1977, Louis Gossett Jr. starred as Fiddler in the landmark television miniseries Roots. His performance as the wise and compassionate mentor to a young Kunta Kinte touched the hearts of millions. The series was a cultural event, watched by over 100 million Americans, and Louis's role became one of his most beloved. His portrayal of Fiddler was both heartbreaking and inspiring, earning him widespread recognition. In 1982, Louis Gossett Jr. made history. He starred as Gunnery Sergeant Emile Foley in An Officer and a Gentleman, opposite Richard Gere and Deborah Winger. His performance was commanding, emotional, and unforgettable. He won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, becoming the first black actor to ever win in that category. This victory was not just his. It was a moment of progress for Hollywood and representation on the world stage. Louis Gossett Jr. proved that talent, dedication, and perseverance could break through barriers. Over the next 4 decades, Louis appeared in more than 200 films and television shows. His credits included Iron Eagle, 1986, Enemy Mine, 1985, Toy Soldiers, 1991, and The Deep, 1977. He also continued to shine on television, appearing in Stargate SG-1, Boardwalk Empire, and Watchmen, 2019. No matter the role, whether a tough drill sergeant, a wise mentor, or a flawed human being, Louis Gossett Jr. brought depth and authenticity that resonated with audiences. Beyond the screen, Louis was a humanitarian and activist. He spoke openly about racism, inequality, and the struggles of breaking through in Hollywood as a black actor. He founded the Racism Foundation, an organization dedicated to eradicating racism by teaching tolerance and understanding. He used his voice, his platform, and his experiences to create change. Louis also faced health challenges, including a battle with prostate cancer and later with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD. Yet through it all, he continued to inspire with his resilience, humility, and grace. On March 29, 2024, Louis Gossett Jr. passed away in Santa Monica, California, at the age of 87. His cause of death was complications from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. He was laid to rest in a private family service, as colleagues, fans, and friends across the globe remembered him not only as an actor, but as a symbol of perseverance and dignity. Louis Gossett Jr. was more than a performer. He was a pioneer, a teacher, and a voice for change. He inspired younger generations of actors and opened doors that had long been closed. For his fans, he gave us unforgettable characters. For his peers, he gave wisdom and encouragement. For the world, he gave hope. Louis Gossett Jr. lived 87 years of artistry, strength, and purpose. He broke barriers, won hearts, and showed us all that greatness comes not from fame, but from courage. Though he is gone, his performances, his activism, and his spirit will continue to inspire. Rest in peace, Louis Gossett Jr. Your legacy is eternal, and your voice will never be silenced. Today, we honor the life of a man who embodied strength, charisma, and resilience. An athlete, an actor, and an entertainer whose presence lit up the screen and inspired audiences worldwide. His name was Carl Weathers. Carl Weathers was born on January 14, 1948, in New Orleans, Louisiana. Growing up in a city rich with culture and history, Carl found his first passion not on a stage, but on the field. Athletics shaped his youth. After excelling in sports, he went on to play college football at San Diego State University, where he proved himself as a powerful linebacker. His skill and determination led him to the NFL, where he briefly played with the Oakland Raiders. Later, he took his talents to the Canadian Football League, joining the BC Lions. Football taught him discipline, strength, and perseverance, qualities that would follow him into every chapter of his life. Carl Weathers eventually left football behind, but the spotlight had not left him. He pursued acting, starting with smaller roles in the 1970s. Slowly but surely, he worked his way into the hearts of audiences, proving that his charisma extended far beyond the football field. Then came the role that would define his career. In 1976, Carl Weathers was cast as Apollo Creed in Rocky. He was fierce, magnetic, and unforgettable. As the heavyweight champion of the world, Apollo was the perfect rival to Sylvester Stallone's underdog, Rocky Balboa. Weathers played Apollo with such confidence and charm that he became an instant fan favorite. He reprised the role in Rocky II, 1979, Rocky III, 1982, and Rocky IV, 1985. Apollo Creed wasn't just a character, he was an icon. With his powerful presence, flashy entrances, and commanding energy, he embodied both strength and style. To this day, Apollo Creed remains one of cinema's greatest characters, thanks to Carl Weathers' unforgettable performance. But Carl Weathers was not just Apollo Creed. In 1987, he starred alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator, playing Dylan, a tough and memorable Special Forces operative. His role in the film cemented his status as an action star. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, he appeared in films such as Action Jackson, 1988, and comedies like Happy Gilmore, 1996, where he showcased his ability to make audiences laugh as well as cheer. On television, Carl had guest appearances and recurring roles in series like Arrested Development and Chicago Justice. More recently, he reached a whole new generation of fans with his portrayal of Greef Karga in The Mandalorian, set in the Star Wars universe. His performance earned him critical acclaim and reminded the world that Carl Weathers remained as captivating as ever. Carl's career spanned nearly 5 decades. He was more than an athlete turned actor, he was a storyteller. Whether playing a warrior, a coach, or a mentor, he brought authenticity to every role. Off-screen, he inspired athletes, actors, and fans alike. His life was proof that with determination and courage, one could rise from humble beginnings to become a legend in multiple fields. On February 1, 2024, Carl Weathers passed away peacefully at his home in Los Angeles, California, at the age of 76. His death was reported as natural causes. He was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills, among many of the greatest names in entertainment. His passing was mourned not only by fans, but by fellow actors, athletes, and creators who admired his contributions. Carl Weathers gave us characters that will live forever. He was Apollo Creed, Dylan, Chubbs Peterson, Greef Karga, roles that defined eras of film and television. But beyond the screen, he was a symbol of strength, resilience, and determination. His journey from the football field to Hollywood was not easy, but he carried himself with dignity and left behind a legacy of excellence. Carl Weathers taught us that legends are not defined by one moment, but by a lifetime of impact. Carl Weathers lived 76 years of purpose and passion. He was an athlete, an actor, a mentor, and above all, a legend. Though he has left us, his voice, his strength, and his presence remain alive in the films we watch and the stories we cherish. Rest in peace, Carl Weathers. You fought with honor, lived with courage, and inspired the world. Not all legends are gone. Some still walk among us, carrying with them a lifetime of stories, triumphs, and unforgettable moments. One of those living legends is Clint Eastwood, an actor, director, producer, and cultural icon whose career has spanned over 7 decades. This is the story of a man who helped define the Western hero, transformed the Hollywood action star, and became one of the greatest filmmakers of our time. This is the story of Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood Jr. was born on May 31, 1930, in San Francisco, California. Raised during the hardships of the Great Depression, Clint's childhood was shaped by resilience and perseverance. His family moved often as his father searched for work, teaching young Clint the values of adaptability and self-reliance. As a teenager, Clint stood out. Tall, handsome, and quiet, he had the rugged charm that would one day make him a Hollywood star. But in those early years, acting wasn't his plan. After graduating high school, he worked various jobs, from lifeguard to paper mill worker, before being drafted into the United States Army during the Korean War. It was only after his military service that Clint began to pursue acting, a decision that would change not only his life, but the history of American cinema. In the early 1960s, Clint Eastwood took on a role that would define an era, the man with no name in Sergio Leone's legendary Dollars trilogy. With a Fistful of Dollars, 1964, For a Few Dollars More, 1965, and The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, 1966, Clint became the face of the modern Western. His squint, his silence, and his steel-eyed presence redefined what it meant to be a gunslinger. These films didn't just make Clint Eastwood a star, they made him an icon. He brought a rawness, a grit, and a quiet intensity that audiences had never seen before. The Western would never be the same. As the 1970s arrived, Clint Eastwood reinvented himself once again. In 1971, he debuted as Inspector Harry Callahan in Dirty Harry. The role was groundbreaking. Harry Callahan was tough, unyielding, and unafraid to speak the lines that became legendary, "Do you feel lucky, punk?" The Dirty Harry series, spanning 5 films, turned Clint into one of the most bankable action stars in Hollywood. More than that, it cemented him as a cultural force. His characters embodied a sense of justice, grit, and determination that resonated deeply with audiences. Clapperboard behind the camera, a master filmmaker. While Clint Eastwood had already conquered acting, he was far from finished. In 1971, he directed his first film, Play Misty for Me. It was the beginning of one of the most remarkable directing careers in cinema history. Over the decades, Clint directed more than 30 films, showcasing his versatility and vision. His work behind the camera brought him critical acclaim, Academy Awards, and the respect of peers and audiences alike. Some of his most celebrated films include Unforgiven, 1992, which earned him Oscars for Best Picture and Best Director. Mystic River, 2003, a haunting crime drama that won 2 acting Oscars. $1 Million Baby, 2004, which won 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director. American Sniper, 2014, a powerful war drama that became one of the highest-grossing films of its year. Clint's directing style is known for its simplicity, efficiency, and emotional power. He doesn't rely on flashy tricks, he lets the story, the actors, and the raw emotion shine through. What makes Clint Eastwood extraordinary is not just his talent, but his longevity. He has remained relevant and influential for more than 70 years in an industry that constantly changes. From westerns to action films, from romance to war dramas, Clint has done it all. He has been a leading man, a director, a producer, a composer, and even a mayor of Carmel by the Sea, California, in the 1980s. His career is a testament to reinvention, persistence, and passion. He has proven time and again that age is no barrier to creativity or excellence. Gold Military Medal honors and recognition. Clint Eastwood's contributions to cinema have earned him some of the highest honors in the industry. 4 Academy Awards. 4 Golden Globe Awards. The Irving G. Thalberg Memorial Award from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. Lifetime Achievement Awards from institutions around the world. Beyond the awards, Clint is respected as a symbol of American grit and determination, a man who brought authenticity to every role and every film. Off-screen, Clint Eastwood is known as a private man. He has lived much of his life outside the Hollywood spotlight, preferring the quiet of California ranches and the peace of family life. He has been a father, a husband, and a mentor, and while his personal life has often been the subject of media attention, Clint himself has always kept the focus on his work. Known for his discipline, work ethic, and minimalistic approach, Clint has often said that his success comes from staying true to himself and never being afraid to take risks. Today, at 93 years old, Clint Eastwood is still with us. Though time has slowed his pace, his presence remains towering. He continues to inspire not only filmmakers and actors, but anyone who believes in perseverance, creativity, and passion. Clint Eastwood is more than an actor or a director, he is a piece of American history. His films have entertained, challenged, and inspired millions, and his story is a reminder that true legends never fade. Clint Eastwood's life is a testament to resilience, reinvention, and artistry. From the dusty plains of the spaghetti westerns to the Academy Award stage, his journey has been one of greatness. He is not just a star of the screen, he is a storyteller, a craftsman, and a living legend. As we celebrate Clint Eastwood today, we give thanks for the decades of unforgettable characters and stories he has given us. And as long as his films live on, so too will the legend of Clint Eastwood.